Hey cycling community, this is Steve Grusis, the Cycling Greek. This is the penultimate episode, episode 8 of a journey in weight loss and bike racing. This is the last fast workout before Dan's goal race on Sunday. It's Thursday morning right now. Tomorrow's going to be a day off the bike for him, and on Saturday he has a choice, depending on his timing, to do 30 to 45 minutes on the trainer with a few accelerations and 1-minute efforts, or go out for a 90 to 120 minute endurance ride. In today's gut-busting damn hill ride, there were 10 of us. Only one though from the Monsters of the Midway and one from the Goon Squad. The Monsters of the Midway, only representing a member in today's ride, the Big Kahuna, didn't want us to miss the other members of his ilk. As soon as we got onto the flats, he went to the front and lit it up for 60 seconds, going 29 to 32 miles an hour. I was in back of that train, and as I was hoping that I wouldn't get gapped, the poor rider in front of me went to his limit and was gapping. So then I sprinted up to the group, and as I did that, I noticed that the Big Kahuna had slowed down at that moment. As it turned out, most everyone was gassed, so no one was pulling through. When the Big Kahuna saw this, he lit it up again. As I was momentarily gassed from both of my efforts, Big Dan came by, took me by the scruff of the neck, and pulled me up to the stronger riders of the group who were bridging back to the Big Kahuna. A big thanks to Big Dan for doing that. We were all feeling pretty gassed. Big Dan, though, was covering the tacks. He covered one earlier, and he was covering another one now. While I wanted to focus my efforts on today's damn hill ride to get to the top of the KOM as quickly as possible so I can establish a base, here I was sprinting up to another breakaway again. Once we entered the small town of Frank from the south, which leads to the bottom of the KOM on the north side, there were still attacks and counterattacks. I ended up in a chase group, but fortunately they were the climbers, so I wasn't that worried, and the red light right before the bottom of the KOM was favorable to us, and so we all started as a group again. Immediately, the Big Kahuna with the Chosen One were in a two-man break ahead of us. I was chasing with the Colonel and the accountants. I was with them for about a couple hundred meters before I had to lose contact. I ended up forming a two-man second chase group with the Ox. I finished in 5th at 5:42. Last year my best time was about 4:50, so I have a little ways to go. On the way back there was more fast. Here I'm behind the Big Kahuna. When I took my pull, it was all I could do to get in front of him to pull off for the next rider to go through. After we start our final climb, which will take us to the run-in leading to the sprint finish, I bridge up to the lead group, but I don't stay there very long. The next group comes by, containing Dan, and not able to hang on to these guys either. I must be pretty knackered. So once I get my legs under me, I go into a time trial mode and then make it to the end. But I wasn't done yet.
I was hoping you could hold on. Oh, that was a nice effort. Good job. Excellent. I was going to throw up.
Panting like a racehorse, I was getting my fuel and water together as they were saying, hurry up, so Big Dan, the Ghost, and I could do another 20 miles. While they were doing it for endurance, I was starting to work on big gear climbing. After Big Dan gets back from his race, this is the type of stuff that he's going to be working on to start his second half of the season. For now, he's tweaked quite nicely for the race on Sunday. I'm going to fit him with a camera, and so that's going to be episode 9.
So the next 2 days just really easy.
Oh, yeah.
Spin and stretch.
Take tomorrow off, and then Saturday, a couple choices, depending on how you feel. One is at 30 to 45 minutes on the trainer with a few max intervals, right. And the other is just on the road, easy, 90 to 120 minutes endurance.
Okay.
Because both will have pretty much the same effect.
So that's good. After the damn hill ride, you saw that we went out to this one store, a little bit of climbing, so I did some big gear work just to get started in that. My main race, kind of, was actually last week, and I'm racing this race because it's Dan's key race. So we're driving together and have some fun. So after this is his goal race for the middle of the year, middle of the season. So he's going to Hawaii after this, which is pretty cool. And when he gets back, I think he's going to rent a bike and do 2 or 3 days over there, just nice, easy spinning.
So when he gets back, I'm going to have him do pretty much what I did. Low cadence, big gear work on climbs. And on these climbs, a lot of traffic. These climbs are going to be not the 4-lane type of climbs that I'm doing, but they're going to be between, let's say 3-4%. And that will be lasting for probably, you know, sometimes it goes a little higher, but it'll be lasting for 5 minutes or so, each interval. Okay, I gotta get to work. Comment, like, subscribe, and subscribe to Cycling Greek.